All praises to Yahweh, Basha, Yahushua, double honors to apostles and elders in New York, GMS. Salutations to you all around the world that's teaching truth and your lives on the line for it. And Shalom to you, serious Aqua. My name is Maya Kaala Bungad with Chicago Ranch Great Millstone. I'd like to make a disclaimer that we're not black. Hebrew Israelites, we are Israelites. The Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, speckled birds, scattered abroad. Speckled birds are Israelites who look like other nations, but their fathers' paternal bloodline go back to the 12 tribes of Israel. We are not affiliated with any violent militant terrorist groups. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite groups. And again, we're not black. Hebrew Israelites, we are Israelites. All right, black is a color, not a nationality. All right, I'm going to read this because I'm going to use a few clips from Good Morning America and Nick Canyon. All right, so I'm using for edification, basically education and research reasons. Education as teaching. All right, and criticism and commenting. All right, here it says Section 107, Copyright Act provides a statutory framework to determine whether something is a fair use and identify certain types of uses such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, and exam activities may qualify for fair use. All right, so I do not own the video clips to Good Morning America and Nick Canyon Show. I do not own the audio, which include the music to Good Morning and Nick Canyon. All right, so again, I'm using the clips for educational reasons. All right, which falls under teaching, which just falls under fair use. All right. All right, so we have Good Morning America again. Let's see. We'll just get together. Wait on this. Salak. So the thing is, man, that whatever.
And he makes a big distinction between that and...
All right, let's see. This would let's see. All right, get this started.
Cannon, since he sparked...
Okay. So again, I do not own this video audio clip. This is for educational reasons. I not making a profit. All right, this falls on the Section 107. All right, Copyright Act for fair use. All right, this is for education at all on this clip. All right, so I'm playing. All right.
Turning now to questions of faith and atonement. Tonight's edition of Soul of a Nation features the first network interview with comedian and TV host Nick Cannon since he sparked criticism for amplifying anti-Semitic language on his podcast last summer. Lindsay Davis sat down with him for the interview. Good morning to you, Lindsay. Good morning to you, Amy. Those anti-Semitic comments and conspiracy...
All right, now, most likely she's a Judite woman. This is what Esau likes people to be, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American, man. They like to see our people dead, man. All right, they enjoy over that. All right, and this is one of the tricks they used, anti-Semitic. When you is sham, not Sam. All right, Sam is just a Greek corruption of the word sham. All right, which means name. All right, which but this is what they love, man. Baruch chapter 4 verse start with 30. It said, "Take good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will comfort thee." All right. Miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoice at thy fall. All right, that's at 30, verse 31, verse 32. Miserable are the cities which thy children serve. Miserable is she that received thy sons. For as she rejoiced at thy ruin and was glad of thy fall, so shall she be grieved for her own desolation. Right? So, Esau rejoiced at our people being asleep. It's spiritual how on Paul's video, she got her eyes closed, and that's what That's what Esau likes, for our people to be blinded to the fact of who they are, not people. So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. All right, get this Romans, since you got our eyes closed this morning. All right, get this right here. All right, hold on. Just bear with me, okay, hold on. All right. Let's see. All right, Romans chapter 11, verse 7. What then Israel obtained have not Romans chapter 11, verse 7. What then Israel have not attained that which he seeketh for, but election have attained, and the rest were blinded. All right, so she's blinded, man. All right, and also the woman, Israel compared to a woman. You read Jeremiah, I believe Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 2, man. All right, so the elect of Israel, they gonna wake up out of this spell that was cast by Esau, man, the so-called European. All right, but the rest gonna be blinded, like this lady right here, Lindsay Davis. All right, it's funny, her surname is Davis. Go back to Dawad. All right, it was her Israelite name, but she's not gonna know that. She don't know the fact. All right, she thinks she's a Hamite. All right, so-called African. All right, which is not. She's not African American. All right. All right, so she's an Israelite. Most likely. All right. I looked at her background, but anyway, the point is that Esau, so-called white man, resonate. They love when Jake is not awoke in a low state, man. They love to see us on drugs. The men and women within the nation of Israel, so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, they each other throats. They thrive on that. All right, they thrive us being on gang banging. Tribal tribes versus each other. Judah, so-called Negroes versus Iscar, so-called Mexicans, and etc. All right, so they love it. They love it so. All right, they love it that way. We're not low state. They hate when we're awake. Right, and this is one they tricks to try to keep us asleep. All right, but you're not gonna keep the elect to 1/3 sleep, man. Right, the 2/3 gonna sleep like this lady right here. All right.
The theories that he espoused caused outrage and at the time cost him his job with Viacom. Well, since then, he describes himself as being on a journey of atonement, and he makes...
All right, so it's called outrage. Why? Because it's the truth. All right, it's the truth that the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. All right, this where scripture at? Trying to find it, so just bear with me, Aki. All right. Right, Amos chapter 5, verse 10, it says, they hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly, which is us, man. All right, which is us. All right, brothers out there teaching, man. Or whether the Jake bring out the truth about who we truly are, you're gonna make enemies, man. Why? Because we disturbing the currency on deceitfulness, which keeps America running, man. All right, now when I use currency, I mean like they system. All right, that keeps their queendom running, man. All right, America runs under the currency of deceit, lies. Okay. Galatians chapter 4, verse 16. I am therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth. All right. So we're the enemies. We declare enemies of Esau, Edom, the eagle. All right. And that's why the FBI I believe the FBI director, whatever he was. All right, he called us black Hebrew Israelites, where we're not black. All right, all right, nobody's black like the land of her church. All right, we're brown skinned people, man. All right, they use black to make us seem, sinister, man. All right, but according to them, we are sinister to them, man. Why? Because because we're a symbol of their downfall, man. It says, well, Second Ezra chapter 6 verse 9, it says Esau's the end of the world, Jacob's the beginning of it, and they know it, man. Like Avil said, they know it's game over, man, for them, man. All right, so Esau, he gonna pull all types of straws out of his buttocks to try to stop the truth, but he's not, man. He's failing miserably. All right.
It's a big distinction between that and an apology. While an apology is just words, Nick says that he
Now Nick
is taking
Cannon,
action.
he been sold out and everything. Now he did the two things that he did this on purpose, to go through what they call one of Illuminati Freemason rituals, ritual of embarrassment, or he felt compelled to tell the truth. Then he was threatened. They might, I'm just saying this the second, or he might his children's lives might have been threatened by Esau. All right, because Mariah Carey, she's under MK Ultra mind control. All right, that's why that time when she came into you remember that old MTV show TRL, whatever that meant. TRL, I believe, she came taking her clothes off, all that. She was breaking down. Her program was breaking down. All right. And they saw she went to somewhere. I believe either she went home to rest or she went somewhere to get help. To one of the clinics, something like that. But MK Ultra program was breaking down. Our mind control program breaking down. Right. So I believe they might have threatened his children, or it might be a little Illuminati embarrassment ritual. All right.
Nick Cannon is not asking for forgiveness, but after what he said this past summer, many think he should. Bigoted comments he made on one podcast.
And it's sure Esau keep things up. This is something from last summer, but he want us to he want us to forget slavery and the colonization. He want us Israelites, so-called Negro, Latino, and American, to forget all that. All right. All right, we get angry. All right, but anyway.
Through his stardom and future into a tailspin.
You can't be anti-Semitic when we are the Semitic people, when we are the same people that who they want to be. Mm-hmm. That's our birthright. That's our birthright.
The Cannon's Class episode.
All right, now he wasn't lying when he said that. All right, he wasn't lying. All right. But I said Hosea chapter 4 verse 6, our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. All right, because you go right here. All right, this is Ham in the Zumbi Bible Dictionary with vocab alone. Love to try to debunk what you can, because these are by scholars. It says Ham. All right, which is actually the Hebrew word come. All right, means hot. All right, that's what the true name of that land over there, Africa, called. All right, it says Ham. All right, the youngest son Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became a progenitor, the beginner of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. All right. All right, so there you go, man. All right, then it's let's see, what's another. All right, now this is page 15 from the book Servants of Allah, African Muslim Slave in Americas. Right, so the so-called Negroes not Africans, but and then the other thing, they convert to Islam. They were still Israelites. All right, your religion don't change your nationality, who you are. All right, it says right here, asks about the biblical curse of Ham, which vows Ham descendants to be slaves of his brother. This son Esau made it. First of all, Ham's son Canaan was cursed, not Ham. Idiots. All right, this is where Genesis 20, and it's talking about when the Canaanites came under servitude of the Israelites. when Joshua came on the scene. All right. It says right here, Ahmed Baba. I just want to answer this. Ahmed Baba answered there is no difference between the human races in the Quran. All right. So you're going on reading the Quran. All right. So you know in the Bible that Yahweh puts a distinct difference between uh, uh, Israel and the rest of the heathen nations. All right. Read that Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6, 2nd Ezra chapter 6, 54, 59. All right, more scriptures. All right. That even if Ham was the father of the Sudanese, all right, the Israelites from Sudan, God was too murdered to make millions of men pay for a mistake or one. All right. But anyway, so right here it says that even if Ham was the father of the Sudanese, which means he knew he wasn't no Hamite. Point blank period, man. All right, this is the ancestors talking. All right. As a matter of fact, let's read this right here. This is page, I believe. This is between page 16 and 17. All right. It said the Spanish reluctant, notwithstanding Brazil, or people come direct from Africa imported because the trade Latinos could not meet the demand. Nicholas D. Alvarado, the governor of Hispaniola, right, which showed that today Haiti, the Dominican Republic, considered the trade in Brazil had a bad policy as for complete stop importation of African Israelites. All right, in 1503, after the first slave uprising in the New World, led by the Wolof Israelites. In 1522, a royal decree of May 11, 1526, specifically forbade the introduction of Wolof, Negroes, blacks from the Levant or Middle East. I'm going to read again. Negro, blacks from the Levant or Middle East. Those who had been raised with Moors, number Israelites. All right, but right here it said blacks from the Levant, the Middle East. All right, so they just didn't snatch you from Africa, man. They snatched you from over there in the land of Israel, or around that surrounding areas in the Middle East, man. All right, see, this is the dirty thing that Esau likes to hide, man. All right, and why you think right here again? We'll read this again. Ham, the youngest son Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, one of the 8 to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptian, Ethiopian, Libyans, and Canaanites, man. Okay. And this is the truth that is hurting these people, man. All right. It's hurting their currency of America, which America, their currency is what? Their lifeline is what? Deceit. Right? Lies. All right.
Episode featured Richard Griffin, aka Professor Griff, who had been kicked out of Public Enemy back in 1989 for anti-Semitic comments. He and Nick retread anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and questioned the birthright of the Jewish people. The reaction was swift and widespread. Nick lost his deal with Viacom CBS and stepped away from a daily radio show. His road back meant more than apologies. He sought atonement.
In Hebrew, they call it, teshuvah.
This episode featured Richard Griffin, aka Professor Griff, who had been kicked out of Public Enemy back.
Now, Professor Griff definitely cannot be anti-Shemitic or anti-Semitic. Why? But guess what? His father is a Blackfoot Indian. Right? He's a Gadite, man. And even your scholars, Esau, say that the so-called Native Americans or so-called American Indians or the Aboriginal, whatever you want to call them, all right, that they are Israelites. All right. So Professor Griff is a Israelite from the tribe of Gad. All right. Got evidence where he says his father was Blackfoot. All right. So they go right here. All right. And again, I'm doing all on this clip. All right. This for educational reasons. All right. And I made profit of it. All right. And right, you can see right here.
An American. I don't want no pride. I don't have that pride. I'm not prideful about being from this particular country. I'm glad that I came back to connect with my brothers and sisters here in America that was here long before Chris and the boys got here. And long before America Vespucci.
Yep, and that's the second address 1339 to 48 when the 10 tribes of Israel, the northern kingdom, came over here, man. Right, they was the first ones to settle in this land. Now you had the Canaanites All right, during the time of Solomon, even before that, Canaanites been searching around the world. They come over here, they gather resources like the redwood, gold, silver, or whatever, and they bring it back over to the other side. All right, they didn't stay there. All right, they got their supplies and they bounced. All right, but the Israelites, after Syrian captivity, all right, came over here to the Americas. That's why you find a lot of their customs, man. All right, sorry. All right.
For all of them people got here, because we were already here.
Right, exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? So I'm glad to come back and
There's a difference between pride and glad. That's how I always like that.
Exactly.
You can be glad to be, but you don't have to have pride in it. Because
Exactly.
pride, there's a lot of ego within it.
Right, we're forced to defend this land.
All right, pride. All right, anyway.
A land that we can't even grow crops in to feed ourselves. All right, thanks to Monsanto's and the rest of them, but that's another story.
That's another Candace class.
Exactly. But I'm saying to you, no, I had tribal pride. My father's Blackfoot Native American.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. His father is Blackfoot. Native American's father is a Gadite. All right, Numbers chapter 1, verse 18. You are the seed of your father. There's no getting around it. All right. Now let's see what they say about Professor Griff people. All right, you almost call us Esau. All right. This is my Jewish learning. All right. All right. It says right here. Let me get to the top. All right. It said Native American Jew, the Lost Tribe episode, and all too forgotten historical debate by David Kaufman. It said in the 8th century, the Syrians dispersed the kingdom of Israel, giving life and legend to the Lost Tribe. Like I said they came over here. All right. Read that 2 Ezra 13, 39 to 48. All right. It said the reparation of the Lost Tribe eventually became an integral part of the Jewish and Christian Messianic dream. There have been Lost Tribe speculation about the newly discovered population. One of the most fascinating, forms forgotten, discussed the center on Native Americans. All right, Trevor got how did the American Jews respond to this? Why and how the Jews credit discredit what the theory signified about the American Jewish agenda. That's all right, but ain't no theory, it's a fact, man. All right, one of the first books to suggest Native American Lost Tribe theory was written by a Jew, Dutch rabbi, scholar, and diplomat Manasseh ben Israel, but he knew his scriptures. All right, it said the hope of Israel, 1650. Ben Israel suggests that discovery of Native Americans survived remnant of Syrian exile was his fast. With the Sarah Harada Mason Abbott, just 1 year later, Thomas Thurgood published his bestseller, Jews in America, or Probabilities that the Indians are Judaical, made more probable by some additional former conjurers. The Lost Tribe idea found favor among early American nobles, including Cotton Mather, the influential English minister Elias Ben, the New Jersey lawyer, who was one of the leaders of the American Revolution, and the Quaker leader William Pell. But they knew their history, man. All right, they had access to all the books and everything. They was educated. All right, it says the notion revived that James Adair, a 40-year veteran trader, Metallic's Chronicle, Israelite features a Native American religion and social custom, wrote the history of American Indians, containing an account of their origins, language, and manner, religion, and civil custom in 1775. So James Adair spent 40 years among the so-called Native Americans, so he know what's what. All right. It said even Professor Jones, an American Bible professor engaged in the theory of 1831, claimed that anyone conversing with European Jew or African regular will perceive a great likeness in color, feature, hair, absence, condescending, robe. All right, but anyway. All right. It's a religious connect. It says some writers were interested in Native American history, but many of them were interested in the Bible. Indeed, the Lost Tribe claim could be part of the general 19th century fascination with biblical history. Exports of the Holy Land, flora, fauna, and geography of the Holy Land, the life of Jesus and the man very much involved. A very close identification among the 17th century with chosen people of Scripture helped Christian settlers see their new context, New England as reacting to Israel journey to problems, and it was Esau's time of rulership. I forget what they called it. A manifest destiny. All right, but it was Esau turned to rule, man. It was his blessing. Read Genesis 27:37 on down, and Job 9:24. It was just a time of rule in the East and Israel, the so-called Negros Latino Native American time, to go down for a while. All right, but now we're waking up. It said also contribute to more general religious myth-making scheme to help define the national identity of the United States. The site on 1799 Thanksgiving sermon Abel told his congregation. It had also been remarked that the people of the United States come near to parallel with ancient Israel, the other nation on the globe. Hence, American Israel, the term for use, right? But then also that's when they use Esau. That's why they begin to call themselves or white people in 1681, because white signified purity, and white, if purity was a pure people, Israel, right? So basically, it's a chosen people, right? You associate the word pure with the nation of Israel, right? Because they're chosen people, all right? Sorry, but anyway, it says right here, a curious incident drew considerable proof that at least some that Native American had ancient Israelite origin unfolded when the Teflon phylacteries were discovered in Pittsfield, Massachusetts in the early 19th century. Right there you go, right there. Their discoverer wrote that forms another link of evidence that our Indians are identified with the ancient Jews. The fact they call Indians, let's go Deuteronomy 28 and 37, should be called backward, all right? Because India go back to word India. All right, they're not Elam. All right, they're Israelites from the tribe of Gad. All right, you had the rest of their brethren on throughout the Americas. All right, so who was scattered upon the face, who was scattered upon the face of earth was a true Deuteronomy 28 and 64. All right, because he also when Esau came over here, they put him in slave ships and scattered them. Deuteronomy 28:68. James 1:1. To the 12 tribes scattered abroad, right? To paraphrase, to this day remain a living mind to verify and establish the eternal truth of scriptures. All right. But anyway, let me see. All right, but they have, you see right here, they have, there's, around the time of Pittsburgh Teflon is named Mordecai Emanuel Noah, the journalist, playwright, politician, in Jewish American state, began spilling ink about the subject. Noah wrote a play. She would be the soul of the plains of Chippewa, 1890, resolved the tension between Yankees and the British by identifying the Indian Great Spirit with the God of the Bible. It is, man, right? Because like my Cherokee answer, they call, well, Esau said Yehovah, but it's Yahweh, all right? So the name was Yahweh, all right? Not Yehovah. You know, let's say Yehovah, but it's Yahweh, actually. All right, but, all right, let me see, right here, I'm gonna skip down here. It's another noble Jewish Indian incident occurred in 1860 when stones here with Hebrew inscription were found near Newark, Ohio. You can find this in the book The Lost the 10 Tribes of Israel. All right, by Timothy R. Jenkins. All right, you can find that in there. All right, another noble Jew Indian occurred in 1860 when in stones hewed with Hebrew inscription were found near New York, Ohio. The story unfolded over the course of many months and followed closely by others like the Occidental Jewish Measure, who respected Ezra, represented into a vanguard American jury. Isaac Mayer Wise, a leader of reform movement, America employed flaws of proof on the matter of stones authenticity. Salah. Authenticity. All right. All right. And that's what Esau do, man. Right, and just like they denied the so-called Negroes in American Israelites, like they denied the so-called Native American Israelites. He rejected any connection between Jews and Native Americans. He's getting cut. Though it's noted he bought to engage the story at all. All right. It says right here, reviewing the relics in question, the Austin and Les newspaper concluded that the sons of Jacob were walking on the soil of Ohio many centuries before the birth of Columbus. Yep. All right. All right. Okay, so let me get some. All right. So Professor Griff, people are there's like, as a matter of fact, look at his people. He says Father Blackfoot. You look at the customs. All right. You see right here, they got, see right here, they got the fringes. All right. which is Numbers chapter 15:38, Deuteronomy 22:12. All right, they got that copper skin. You can see them various shades of see them nice and dark brown. All right, you got some light brown, dark brown, medium brown, darkest brown. All right, you see on their dial, Blackfoot dial, they got the fringes on there. All right, they suffer the curses of being persecuted and enslaved. That's in Deuteronomy 28. All right, these people are there. Like, matter of fact, the Blackfoot main diet is buffalo. Then they hung elk and moose. Esau say they had ground squirrel, but that's what Esau say. All right, but anyway, they main diet was that buffalo was just a clean animal. All right, so I don't know what Esau. He well, I already know why, but they just don't want nothing. They just don't want the so-called Negroes, Latino, Native American to know that there is like here go right here. All right, you see that what's this? It's one of those so-called Native American dresses. All right, I believe dog and I lost the image. I hate that. All right, let me see if I could get this again. Hopefully. But anyway, you seen all right, Blackfoot dress, 1850. All right, so you got the fringes, everything. All right. Now, what are those? All those ish scholars, all right, those rabbis, they always say, well, if they doing a custom, everything, they doing all the customs, they're Jews. They always say that. All right. Here go the Blackfoot, which is Professor Griff people, they're doing custom about the ancient Israelites. Why? Because they are the Israelites. All right. Numbers. Let me get this. Numbers. Get this scripture. Hold on, Salak. Get this scale right here. All right, Numbers 15, verse 38. It says, "Speak unto the children of Israel, build them that make their fringes and the boys their garments throughout their generation, and they that put upon the fringes or borders and a ribbon of blue." You got right here. All right, they got the fringes and they got the ribbon of blue. All right, it's right there, man. There you go.